I've returned from a kind of a period of retreat, although I haven't gone anywhere or been anywhere. I've just simplified life from its usual degree of simplicity to a greater degree. And in that, there has been the emergence of just moving through the next wave of the very isness, the thisness of all things. Let's demystify that a little. I'm preparing to enter into a process that will be a descent into a more complex way of living. Let's demystify that even further. I'm due to go into hospital to have a procedure that has a certain element of risk attached to it. And I've been attending to that holistically, psychologically, emotionally, bodily, physically, and in terms of how I've been open to talking about that around friends and family and community and loved ones and colleagues and everybody really. Has just been hearing what's going on for me. I'm pretty much an open book if you knew me personally, and I'll tell you most things quite quickly if you get to know me, that I've known and that I've been through, and some of the experiences and the things I've learned from experiences. I am able to approach the day from a seeming sense of wholeness, to use that conceptual idea, from an embodied place, and to live out of rather than into the need to serve and to give and to offer. And this latest round of stuff has been attached to my physical health. I've mentioned before that my age is the age that a face like this would look like. I've just passed my mid-50s, and this colourful existence that I've known has brought me to a place where the consequences of that lust for life in the first half of life are appearing in the physical body. There are consequences to the choices we make as younger people, or the things that we are brought to, even if we're not making choices from the relative sense that we are brought to in our younger life. And I spent a lot of my younger life seeking happiness by escaping suffering, and I did this through as many methods, practices, tools, principles, objects, substances, people, places and things that I could get my hands on. And every single one of them worked, from people to substances, to food, to surroundings, to environments, and it's been brilliant. And when I use the word brilliant, it includes the idea that at times it's been terrible, awful, because embodying life and coming to a sense of enduring happiness over happiness found through objects and the things that I collect and buy and like, and how I identify in my current version of who I think I am, kind of narrative I had in the past. Embodying happiness now is to reconcile the inevitable and necessary suffering of life that will come to us. Life is a measure of its own expression. God, to use a religious term, is doing life through life itself. God is not a character to me. God is not a character who offers this life as a gift, but God is this gifted life itself. We don't need to look any further than present tense reality to see that. How is this even happening? How is everything as an undivided field, as an indivisible, cosmic, psychological, physical, spiritual experience even occurring? Perhaps the best answer we can come up with is it's certainly not occurring by my hand. So there has to be something other. If it's not this, I'm not making all of this happen, am I? But the happening of it and the knowing of the happening of it, the experiencing, seems to be happening through me. There seems to be a locality to which I experience the world, sensory, spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, bodily, through the field of perception, that enables me to sit and articulate everything that I've just said since you pressed play on this recording, as a means of expressing something along the way that relates to right now, and the idea of being able to articulate something that may or may not be useful. In that, it's an articulation then of being at the cusp of moving into a procedure on the physical body that has risks attached to it. That is an attempt to communicate to anyone who cares to listen, and I don't mind if nobody does. The expressing of it itself is the jazz of talking. It's the spontaneity and the artistic, simple, prosaic, ordinary expression of words used in the service of that which lay beyond words, the beauty that art points to, and we use words in really to look outwardly into the world and to articulate using words what we see, feel, touch, taste, hear, smell, know, and am. So that's an attempt at that. So due to experience a descent into something, and I've had to be attending to the emotional experience of preparation, psychological experience of preparation, the implication of the pathway to that, which has been things that are happening around the physical body that could be described as problematic, can be at times confusing. They're not particularly painful, but they are experiences in the physical body that are troubling at the time, certainly. And they're episodic in nature, so there's things happening in the body where the body moves into a state related to the physicality of its experience, and then of course one's attention is drawn to this sensation in the hand, this sensation in the arm, this sensation in the mind, these physical feelings in the stomach. These are examples, these don't relate to the experience I am myself describing. So that's all been happening, so I've retreated into that to attend to that, to be with that, to not concentrate on that, but to be sure and be clear and to look into it and go, okay, come, it's okay, this new wave of shadow or of descent or this new movement into the void of the human experience. By now, by so many preceding attempts to traverse through both pro and con of a descent into the void of life, the difficulties of life, from suffering to misery and depression and all those things that are inherent in the nature of the human waltz. And to have sufficiently been through those repeatedly, daily, monthly, weekly, at length, for short seasons, over there, back here, all the times I've been through struggles and difficulty, to simplify it, which have created an even more robust sense of how to be here the next time. And sometimes that's been a tedious and difficult and terrible process. But here we are on the cusp of one of those again, with this idea that I might this time do it somehow better, and who knows what will happen is exactly what will happen, and there's no personality sitting here that can really attempt to secure how that's going to go. It's merely a mental projection, a movement of mind. And I've been discussing this with the people who love me, particularly my wife and my dear friends. I've entertained a piece of work that I've just completed with my friend Kate, that has been fruitful, and we've been able to travel together for a little while as she and I do, and I've been able to be with my wife and my work life, in which I've had to be open about what I'm experiencing and what I'm about to experience, so that I can get support and time out around that area of my life. And in the moments, these apparent moments that have made up preparation for this journey and the experiences thus far, I felt absolutely fine. I've been having a great time. I went out for a social occasion organised by myself with friends prior to the procedural part of what I'm about to travel. And on reflection of that social event, a meal, I was able to see how much love there is in my life. I was able to, more than see, just to be reminded, Because we need constant reminders, don't we, of how much love there is around us, of that love, on reflection of a preceding event, by just seeing how many people from different areas of my life value me, from my work colleagues to my personal friends, to my beautiful wife that sat with me, and to my mates, those that I can have fun with and enjoy time with and have a laugh with and be bawdy with if I need to be, which I do like to do all those things. I'm very fun-loving in all this attempts to eloquently, failingly articulate something of meaning, confusingly perhaps. I'm a very fun-loving person for all this attempted seriousness I'm attempting to portray into a short clip for social media. So there it is. This is where I'm at, and I hope the message from this is that we are able to be presented with difficulty, suffering, complexity, emotional, psychological, physical, spiritual attachment to that as it appears in the midst of the human experience, at the heart of the spiritual walk or the enlightened walk or the recognized walk. We will encounter in the world complexity, struggling, suffering, mysteries, and events that we cannot control, that we dare not control if we're honest. For the common sense idea that in an attempt to control them, we make them more complicated. This is the nature of suffering. Suffering is whenever we want to control the difficulty that we're going through, rather than trust in the process. And of course that's difficult. The attempts to control are righteous. They are merely an attempt to do it well on our own resources. For this is how us human beings are equipped, is to attempt to do life well on our own resources. But we are not separate, distinct animals traversing a story of perfection made on our own imagined will, on our own resources. We are undivided experience, collectively, all in this together. We're all in the dance of the waltz. We're all on the dance floor. We're all the dancers. And in fact, when we search hard enough, uncover enough, we discover that we are in fact the dance itself. And we're all enjoying it because we're all dancing to the same tune. That is the face of God. That tune, that melody, presence, being, right here, right now. May it go well with you, and let's offer a conceit at this juncture. May it go well with me in the next few weeks. Peace be with you.